غرباء 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 غرباء.
بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه وبعد. Yesterday we started with the chapter the rulings of wudu, and we covered the conditions prior to wudu, the things that a person must have done or must have within himself to carry out wudu for it to be accepted. And we will go over these conditions, and we said that Islam is one of the conditions, sanity, to be able to tell the difference between right and wrong, to have the intention, to have water that which is pure for a person to use so he could purify himself, and he must do prior to wudu, and it's not part of wudu, but once a person goes into the bathroom, he must have done istinja or istijmar. And the fact that anything that would not allow the water to reach the skin, for it to be removed so that the water can reach the skin. We move on to the furud al-wudu, and these are actions that without which one's wudu is not complete. So the conditions are prior, and this is the duration of wudu, the actions that a person must do for the wudu to be complete. The first one is the fact that the person must wash his face, and this is from the furud al-wudu, an action that which is compulsory, without which your wudu is not complete. When we say the washing of the face, within this we included the washing and the rinsing of the mouth and the blowing of the nose. And the ahadith mention madmada and istinshaq. Madmada means to gargle water to the back of your throat and then to spit it out of your mouth. But madmada, to gargle this in duration of one's fast, it should be avoided. You should just rinse the mouth generally and not take it back to the throat. Istinshaq is also part of the same wording when we say to wash the face. Istinshaq means to take the water and to sniff it, to take it up to your nostrils and then blow the water out of your nose. And this is taken from the ayah that Allah Azza wa Jal mentioned, and we mentioned this ayah yesterday, that Allah says, فَاغْسِلُوا وُجُوهَكُمْ, that you must wash your faces. And the Prophet ﷺ, there are multiple and many ahadith with regards to madmada and istinshaq, taking the water and gargling it, and then also taking water and allowing it, inhaling it through your nose, and then blowing it out of your nose. The second fard for a person that he must carry out in duration of his wudu is the fact that the person washes his hands up to his elbows. And this is taken from the statement of Allah Azza wa Jal, وَأَيْدِيَكُمْ إِلَى الْمَرَافِقِ, that let you wash your faces, let you wash your arms up to your elbows. Now the elbows are included within inside your washing, meaning we don't say up to your elbows and the elbows are not included within that. Rather, the bone of the elbow is included in washing of your arm. The third condition, or the third fard or compulsory act a person must carry out for the wudu to be complete, is the mashu al-ra'si wa minhu al-udhunan, is the fact that the person wipes over his head and then wipes through his ears. And this is taken from the statement of Allah Azza wa Jal, وَامْسَحُوا بِرُؤُوسِكُمْ. Now the ears are not mentioned in the ayah, but then the ears are considered to be part of the head. But then again, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he's mentioned in Ibn Majah and Dar al-Qutni, the fact that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, al-udhunani min al-ra'si, that the two ears are from the head. The fourth fard is to wash the feet up to your ankles. So the washing of the feet up to your ankles is considered to be from the fard, and without it your wudu is incomplete. And Allah says, وَأَرْجُلَكُمْ إِلَى الْكَعْبَيْنِ, and your feet up to your ankles. And this also includes your ankles within it. When we say up to your ankles, we do not mean the fact that your ankles are not included with this, but rather what we mean by that is the fact that with your ankles. So when we say إِلَى الْكَعْبَيْنِ, and إِلَى here means not to your ankles, but rather it means with your ankles. So even with when we say وَأَيْدِيَكُمْ إِلَى الْمَرَافِقِ, the ulama have taken إِلَى to be ma'a, to be with. So you've got to include your elbows as well as include your bone of your ankle with inside the washing of your feet. The fifth fard of a person that he must keep in mind is at-tartib. The sequence in which you do your wudu has to be in the sequence that which is given to us by Allah. And that is the fact that we wash our faces first, and within our face the mouth and the nose is included, and then we wash our arms, and arms within it we include our elbows, and then we wipe over our heads, and that is wiping over from the front of your head to the back of your head, and then we include that. Now within this we see that some people make a mistake in wiping their necks like this, or they wipe their necks like this. The neck is not considered to be part of the head, and this is not from the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam for one to wipe over his necks. Rather, the neck is not considered to be part of the head. So the head, front to the back, and then the ears, and inshallah the sifa of carrying out this wudu, inshallah we'll take it in the next chapter. And then we said that the washing of the feet, and the feet we wash up to our ankles. And the fifth one we said the fact that the person must have his sequence correctly done, meaning the sequence in which he does his washes his bodily parts should be as Allah Azza wa Jal has mentioned them to us. The sixth thing is the fact that the person must carry out his wudu one after the other, meaning one body part after the other without letting it dry. So a person cannot take long breaks and move away and disappear, where he washes his face and then he goes out and he cooks and then comes back and he does his arms, and then he goes back and mashallah does the gardening, and then he does his feet. We don't do that. Meaning mu'alah is part of the person's an yakuna mutawaliya, the fact that he follows it after one another. So it may be a short space of time where, for example, somebody's making wudu and the doorbell rings and he quickly runs and opens the doors and comes back and continues without the body parts drying up. So this is something that's okay. But for a period of time where partial of your arm becomes dry, this would be incorrect and not permitted. As for tasmiyah, the ulama have basically come to the agreement, the fact that it's part of one's wudu to say Bismillah. But they differed over the fact that whether or not it's wajib or it's a sunnah. But whether it be a wajib or sunnah, know the fact that they did not differ over the fact that whether or not it should be done or should it not be done. It should be done, and a person should try to remember to make his say Bismillah prior to his wudu. And Mu'allif rahimahullah, he says, وَإِنْ زَادَ الرَّحْمَنَ الرَّحِيمِ فَلَا بَأْسَ. And if the person was to say Bismillah, stop there, or if he said Bismillah Rahman Rahim and stop there, and there's no ba's within that. And then once he finishes his wudu, then he says his shahadatain, tajdidul imani bi shahadatain. So the person as well as purifying himself, meaning his bodily parts, meaning he washes his face, he purifies it, cleans it. He then washes his arms, he cleans it, and then he wipes over his head and ears, and then his feet. Then after that, there is tajdeed al-iman. There's a purification of the heart, iman, and purification of one's faith. So what does he say? I bear witness that there is no deity worthy of worship except from Allah, and I bear witness that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is his messenger. And he frees himself from shirk. He frees himself from shirk, and he completes his wudu like that. Inshallah, we'll continue with the rest of the bab just prior to Salatul Maghrib, and I ask Allah Azza wa Jal to make us amongst those who act upon the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين.